Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish Gaming, de-resed video game news here on the Clownfish Gaming channel. We're going to talk about physical cartridges, physical releases, and the death of physical video games. And we're going to talk about how Atari is pushing back. Atari releasing a whole bunch of new cartridges, physical complete games for the Atari 7800 plus and the 2600 plus. I think this is a very good thing. I wish we could get a new console that relied more on physical games, because we know that there's a lot of weirdness going on with digital games. Either they're making changes to those games, or they're deleting them from the store. You know what I'm saying? And you never really own them. And if they decide to shut the store down or whatever, you're out of luck. That's the end of your library. And that should concern gamers. That should concern anyone who consumes digital media, whether it's games or movies or comic books or whatever. They could disappear tomorrow. But we're going to talk about this, and then we're going to talk about how Atari is kind of the anti-Nintendo, because as Atari is leaning into releasing even more physical games for 40-year-old console, right? I mean, it's crazy. And I love I got to tell you, I love the 7800 Plus. I love it so much. The kids got me one for Christmas. And so they're leaning into the physical games, and then Nintendo is like, oh yeah, we're going to give you a cartridge, but the game isn't actually on it. You're going to have to download the game. And I think that's bogus. I think it's bull. But yeah, a little bit of a history with me in the 7800. I actually had an Atari 7800 before I had an NES when I was a kid, because I had a bunch of Atari games because we picked one up at a yard sale, I think. It was a used console, and I had a bunch of games. And back then, after the great video game crash of 83 or 84, forget what year it was, but you could buy Atari games really cheap. You could buy them for like $5, $10, 99 cents in some cases, right? You could pick up as many copies of E.T. and Defender as you wanted for like 99 cents. And Indiana Jones, Raiders of the Lost Ark, which to this day, I still have no idea how to play that game. But so yeah, I got the 7800 because I was like, well, I've already got a bunch of Atari games, and this seems like a better investment. I can still play the 2600 games and these games. Little did I realize that the Atari 7800 never really took off, which is a real shame, because it is a very good machine. And what impresses me about the Atari 7800 is the homebrew scene. I don't know if you guys have seen, but there are a ton of games that were released aftermarket. A lot of them fan-coded games, or maybe coded by former professionals, and they really showed off the power of the system. And it was comparable to the NES. It just never was really utilized the way it should be. But now we've got some new releases from Atari, including Dark Chambers, which I have. This is a re-release. This is a very, very good game. It's basically Gauntlet for the 7800. Super Circus Atari, and Tiger Heli. Now this one, Tiger Heli, I did not know if this was a fan game, if this was like an aftermarket game, and this is an official release, because they've done that for a couple of the titles. But yeah, the port looks really good. This is John Hancock on YouTube, and he covers a lot of retro games. And I'm looking at this, and it actually looks better than the NES version. Oh, here's the 7800. This is the arcade version. This is the 7800, but he is saying it plays better than the NES version. So this is what the system was capable of, and it's a real shame that they didn't do more with it. But yeah, I guess they're at the game show, the Midwest Gaming Classic this week, and you can see a lot of the new games. And I love this. I love seeing new old games in boxes. I don't know why, but it makes me very excited. And after having seen the Minecraft movie yesterday, I'm like, are you going to bring the Cosmos out? That'd be cool. That'd be a cool thing to do, right? That was an unreleased holographic system, and it was kind of a plot point in the movie. Like, you guys should bring one of those out. So let's talk about the difference between Atari and Nintendo. So now we're going to talk a little bit about Nintendo and physical game sales. DualShockers published this earlier in the year, but they said in the UK, there are very few people buying physical games. But why should you? I guess in a lot of cases, because the game's never complete anyway, right? You buy that physical disc. It's not like you can just pop it in to the machine without an internet connection. Everything's got to be online now. And so there was a 4.4% drop in UK sales The most alarming statistic published concerns physical copies. Sales of box games went down by almost 35%, 35% in a year. A staggering decrease that bodes ill for the ownership of games. That is it. You do not own digital games. Physical media has been steadily declining over the years. Major gaming storefronts, led by Steam, have sold players the idea of clutter-free convenience, where all of your games are one click away wherever you go. And I do like that. I do appreciate that. But I also know what comes with it. And what comes with it is the potential to lose your library, to have things changed. And I've got I have a massive collection of Steam games, but the games I love the most, a lot of times I'll try to track down a physical copy, but I think that it should be normalized to have physical games again. I don't think that it should be reserved just for like the limited run games and these companies that release, special editions of physical copy. Like, I think the physical copy should always be available, but if gamers aren't buying them, I would love to see a system that was a throwback that just had physical games, offline physical games with better graphics. That would be amazing. The convenience appeal has led gamers to sleepwalk into a new standard where the money you own goes toward games that you have no ownership of. That's it. You're dumping the same amount of money, if not more so, into games that you're never going to own. And that's just crazy. $80, $90 for a digital download from Nintendo. You're never going to own those games. The modern gaming contract makes your access to your purchases conditional. Installing a PlayStation 5 game, for example, requires an internet connection, a functional PlayStation Network account, and healthy servers from the PlayStation Store. A breakdown in any of these points means you're functionally out of $70 and unable to touch that shiny AAA game you've been saving up for. In many cases, physical copies are no longer a valid workaround for this either. I think this is part of the reason that we're seeing retro games make a comeback. I mean, I think the economy, especially, we're gonna talk more about Nintendo and tariffs and pricing and price gouging and all that in another video. But I think that if new AAA games become cost prohibitive, I think we're going to see people go back to classic consoles. You just plug it in and play. You don't even need an internet connection. It's really frustrating, especially like with the Switch, even Switch 1. I'm like, well, I have the physical cartridge of this game, but I still am not allowed to play the game in some cases. Or I downloaded the game, but I can't play the game because I don't have an internet connection. So we had a power outage a couple of weeks ago, and we were down for 2 days, I think. We had really bad windstorms here in the Northeast. There are tornadoes in Ohio and all that. And but my Switch was fully charged. I'm like, well, I can play some Switch games. Well, no, I can't, because the internet was down. It was like, well, this freaking sucks. This just sucks. So I guess I'm just gonna sit here in the dark with my flashlight and just wait for the power to come back on. I said inserting the disc allows you to download and play the game, but functionally it's a digital format. Yeah, that's what Nintendo's doing. And this is just a couple days ago, Polygon's kind of calling it out. They said, farewell physical media. Some Nintendo Switch games aren't even on the cartridges. They said it's a good thing the Nintendo Switch comes with a base 256 gig of internal storage, 8 times more than the original Switch's paltry 32 gig, because some Nintendo Switch 2 games won't come on the cartridge at all. The key cards will contain a key that you'll use to download the game, according to the support page on Nintendo's website. And I think it's a terrible idea. I get it in some cases. They're trying to argue that you need this because some of these games are going to be too big to fit on a cartridge. And I think it's all about just normalizing you not owning your games. And I'm going to be honest. I mean, I'm guilty of that right now too with the Switch. I'm lazy. I'm like, oh, a new game came out or it's on sale or whatever. I'll just download it. But I also have a massive collection of physical games. That my favorite games, if they're available on physical media, I buy them on physical. So I mean, this is going to be a huge problem. But I got to give massive props to Atari. I would love to see more games come out. Now it's great. We're seeing some of these homebrew games or aftermarket games come out and getting official releases. We actually have Popeye on order. This is not Atari, but this is Opco Games. So I'm assuming they have, I guess they have a pretty much a pixel perfect conversion of the arcade Popeye game. And I know that some people have done some like really good Pac-Man games, and there's a bunch of unreleased games for the 7800. I would love to see them come out. I'd like to see new games come out for old systems, and that is happening. I know like Mega Cat Studios and stuff, they've done Sega Genesis games. I really would like to see, I guess, just bottle the late 90s, early 2000s in a console, give us physical media, and just make new games for it and keep them low, keep the prices low. These are $30, the Atari games. And yeah, they're Atari games, they're 7800 games, but like I'll pay $30 for physical media. I think it's awesome. And I hope that they continue to make games. I was kind of worried that when they brought the 7800 Plus out, there was going to be kind of a, not a, a stunt, but like a lot of times, they'll bring these consoles back out and then they don't really support them. I'm hoping the sales are good enough that Atari will continue to support them with new releases. And I'd love to see some more classic arcade games get proper ports. I know it's hard with the rights issues and all that, but Tiger Heli is really encouraging. Some people here, Frank Earl saying, just twist our arms. There's some jettisoned, abandoned stuff that would work, like Clax. Yeah, Clax was done, and they never brought it out. This is cool. Love seeing physical media being kept alive. I want them hand-drawn. I love this. Great work. Works on Atari 2600 Plus. I think it does. Yes, it does. Okay. Yeah, so this is awesome. Can you add retailers in Europe? But just order them online. We've ordered a couple games from Atari. They've got a great selection. You go out to their website. I'm not trying to like kiss Atari's butt or anything. I just think this is awesome. Now, Countermeasure 2, I'm not even sure what this is. Like a real-time strategy game. That's pretty cool. And this is very retro Atari art going on here. But yeah, check out their they don't have here they have the old ones here. Yeah, check out the site, Atari.com. They have a whole section for Atari cartridges. We bought several. Food Fight, I had the original. That's a re-release. Berserk has the voices now. Asteroids Deluxe is awesome. I got this one. And they actually went back to the vector art for it because, the other Atari ports were like, colored pixels. And this is a more authentic arcade experience. And this is definitely a pickup. And again, it's, $30. Sometimes they have them on sale. You can pick up the console for like $130. But they have a ton of cartridges out there. So good on Atari, bad on Nintendo. I'm going to wrap it up, guys. Thanks for watching.